Okay, we're live on YouTube now, so everyone behave yourselves. Shabbat Shalom, and Merry Christmas if you're watching and you're in an interfaith uh, family or part of your family is celebrating this Christmas holiday. But our purpose here tonight is to celebrate Shabbat. And of course, if you have your Shabbat lights at home, your Shabbat candles, we're going to kindle our Shabbat lights now. And then Sherry is going to lead us in singing the blessing together. So, and I'll remind you that muting is a wonderful thing in that you can sing with all of the gusto possible at home, all in preparation for when we get back to the synagogue, you can join the choir.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Amen.
I want to begin our service tonight with something that goes back to the Union Prayer Book. I happen to have a copy on my desk that is the 1961 edition, and I updated the language from the thy and thous to this, but the Union Prayer Book is the source. Source of life, we lift up our hearts to you who made heaven and earth. The infinite heavens and the quiet stars tell of your endless power. We turn from our daily work, from its difficulties and its conflicts, from its clamor and its weariness, to meditate on the serene calm of your presence, which pervades all creation and hallows our life with the blessing of Shabbat peace. O source of peace, bless the words on our lips and the prayers in our hearts on this Shabbat. Enlighten our eyes to behold your guiding power in all nature, from the remotest star to our inmost soul. Inspire our hearts to love you and to make your will the law of our life. Grant us comfort in sorrow, strength in trial, and the courage to serve you in all our ways. May our words of prayer and our unspoken meditations be acceptable to you, our Creator and Redeemer.
Are you on? Good. Okay. All right. That's
We
what
are
I
on,
thought.
Gail. Shabbat Shalom, Gail Shore.
Oh.
So it is so good to be here together with all of you tonight. Hine Matov.
Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together on this day. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together together on this day. Hinei ma tov u'manayim shevet achim kam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manayim shevet achim kam yachad.
Come, let us sing joyously to Adonai, raise a shout for our rock and deliverer. Let us come into God's presence with praise. Let us raise a shout for God in song. Let's pause for just a moment before we begin Lecha Dodi, and maybe close our eyes. Take a few cleansing breaths, just easy breaths in and out. Feel your breath. Settle into your seat. Feel your heartbeat. Shabbat is here. The queen, the bride, is about to enter. We sing her in with Lecha Dodi. As a reminder, when we get to that last stanza, we'll rise together to greet her and bow in respect, showing her the greatest welcome, such that she dwells with us throughout Shabbat and departs, leaving us peace, wholeness, that we may continue in the following week in our sacred work. Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, v'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala,
righteous bloom like a date palm. They thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Tzaddik katamar yifrach.
Tzaddik tamar yifrach ke'eres ba'lebanon yizkar shetuim bebeit Adonai bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenun b'seva deshenim v'ra'ananim yiyu v'hagid ki yashar Adonai Tzuri, tzuri, v'lo alav tabor.
Let's rise in spirit or body and spirit for our call to worship the Baruch Hu.
Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai, lai. Yai, lai, 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 lai.
You may be seated. I'll remind you that if you're following along in a Mishkan Tefillah at home, you can usually find the page numbers that we're on either at the top or the bottom of the screen. In this case, you can see the 30 down at the bottom. And so if you have your Mishkan Tefillah, we're on page 30. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna mishaneh itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umisader et hakochavim b'mishmerotechem berakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila. Adonai tzavaot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. A special treat tonight. Some of you may recall back to our second artist in residence with Rabbi Or Zohar. He actually shared with us this melody, and it was actually being unveiled at his next stop on his trip, which was up in Massachusetts. And it was a piece that congregation commissioned, but he practiced it with us I was speaking. I was in a class with Orr this past week, and he did this song, and it reminded me. And I said, "Sherry, can we do this?" And she said, "Yeah, I think we can. Let me work on it." And so Sherry is just a just the best, and so she got this together for tonight. So a special treat. Ahavat Olam.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. אהבת עולם, בית ישראל עמך אהבת, אהבת עולם, אותנו לימדת. אהבת עולם, בית ישראל עמך אהבת, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. אהבת עולם, בית ישראל עמך אהבת, אהבת עולם, אותנו לימדת. כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ומצוותיך לעולם ועד. אהבת עולם, אותנו לימדת, כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. אהבת עולם, אוהב עמו ישראל. This was actually commissioned for a synagogue in New Brunswick, New Jersey. And
Thank you, Sherry.
dedicated to a WCN member, a Women Cantors Network member, Cantor Anna West Ott, which is very sweet.
Thank you for correcting me on that. And thank you for preparing this for tonight. It's
You're
really
welcome. It's a
beautiful.
beautiful piece.
Yes. Okay. We'll continue with the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
When you choose Ve'ahavta, to love. Et Adonai Elohecha, Adonai your God. Bechol levavcha, with all your heart. You must choose to love yourself the way God already does. When you choose ve'ahavta, to love, et Adonai Elohecha, Adonai your God, bechol nafshecha, with all your soul, you must choose to love others the way God already does. When you choose to love everything and everyone the way God already does, you will flow with grace through the river of life to the soul of the universe. Lema'an tizkaru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim le'elokechem. Be mindful of my mitzvot and do them, and you will become holy unto your God. Mi chamocha.
Yaakov, ugalo mi'at chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Ka'al Yisrael.
Give us a place to rest, Adonai, our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. Let's rise in spirit, or body and spirit, for tefillah.
Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor Vehanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot, Umevii Geula Livnei Vnehem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava. Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Ata gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayei hakol ata rav lehoshia. Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechayei hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim verofei cholim. Umatir asurim, umekayem emunato lishenei afar. Micha mocha ba'al gevurot, umido melach, melech memit umechaya, umatzmiach Yeshua. V'ne'eman ata lahachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mechayei hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kedoshim b'chol yom yahalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
How can you hear me, God of old? How can you hear my voice in the chorus of song and praise reaching toward heaven? How can I hear you, God of old? How can I hear your voice in the chorus of traffic and regret weighing on my heart? Let us meet in the hills at daybreak. Let us meet in my eyes at sunset. Let us meet in my labor at noontide. Let us meet in this yearning at twilight. My life is a prayer, your whispers a blessing. Let us meet in sacred moments of holiness and love. Let us meet in gentle moments of awe and wonder. Your radiance shimmers across creation. My words approach you, a song of delight. Holy One, let us meet in a heartbeat, in a breath, in a vision of your holy mountain, where your word, where your righteousness, where your justice and your mercy blesses and sustains us all.
acts of love. Merciful One, for your goodness never ending, we will always yearn for you. We will always yearn for you. We give thanks to you. מודים אנחנו לך.
Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Baruch atah Adonai hamivarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. If you have remained standing throughout the Amidah, the Tefillah, you may be seated, and we'll take a few moments for silent meditation.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
One of the debates in Judaism that never seems to die is the one about whether Reform rabbis should do interfaith weddings, whether we should be blessing those unions. And I have been an advocate of doing interfaith weddings. And I think my attitude comes very much from my personal experience, but also anecdotally, when I look around various congregations that I have been involved with over the years, that quite often in Reform congregations, these families strongly support not only the congregation, not only the Jewish individual in that relationship, but also the Jewish community and therefore the Jewish people. I myself am the product of a interfaith relationship. And at this time of year, I always am given cause to reflect upon this matter. For me, it always comes down the same way, in that I find, particularly at this time of years, that I want to, in particular, reach out to the Christian people within our Jewish community, and wish them a Merry Christmas, wish them peace and love on this holiday. And I think it's right for us to do that, and right to include those wishes in our messages and in our prayers. We love them, we cherish them, and I believe that they love being a part of our Jewish community and supporting us. And it just so happens that this week, our parasha, I think, leads us to this conclusion that we ought to be supportive of the non-Jewish people in our community. And this comes in the story of Joseph. Joseph's father and the siblings are all coming down to Egypt for relief from the famine. Last week, Joseph's identity was revealed, and so now the family is coming, and Joseph has to introduce his family to Pharaoh, which seems only proper. Joseph is basically second in command behind Pharaoh himself, and that Pharaoh would want to meet Joseph's family only seems natural. But Joseph is very concerned about this, and he's concerned because of what he feels would be animosity expressed by the Egyptians towards his native people, because his native people are nomadic herders. And the word is that the Egyptians don't particularly care for these nomadic herders, which seems a little odd, since we are later told in this story that Pharaoh himself employed such herders. And in preparing for this meeting, Joseph, he picks out a couple of brothers. Actually, the text says 5 brothers. He picks out 5 brothers. And he instructs them, and he says, when you meet Pharaoh, don't tell him that you are herders. Tell him that you're involved in animal husbandry, or you're a livestock person. Don't tell him you're herders. And then the meeting occurs, and the brothers, maybe feeling, we shouldn't be ashamed of our identity. We are who we are. If Pharaoh doesn't like it, so be it. So Pharaoh asks them, he inquires about their occupation, and they say, hey, we're herders. You can only imagine Joseph's heart jumping a little bit, wondering, what's the reaction going to be? And the reaction was that Pharaoh embraced them. And he said to them, wonderful, settle in the land of Goshen. And there you can raise your herds and pasture them. And so, this was a welcoming act, maybe unexpected by Joseph. Now, we have to be honest with ourselves and say, okay, well, as we progress through this story, we're going to run into a Pharaoh that forgets Joseph, and the tide turns. And so it is throughout Jewish history. We've had those who have welcomed Jews into their communities. And of course, we have had those who have persecuted and tried to kill, exterminate Jews. And of course, there are horrible, horrible stories to tell, not only of expulsions from countries, but of pogroms, and of course, the Holocaust, the Shoah. And so terrible are these things that one might, get lost in all of the terror. Yet we need to remember that there were those who welcomed us. There were those who embraced us. And in fact, we live here quite safely, not without anti-Semitism, but we live quite well here in the United States. And thank God we also have a homeland in the modern state of Israel. Pharaoh represented really our Jewish values, the same Jewish values that we proclaim when we read the story of Abraham and Sarah, when Abraham was sitting outside of his tent recovering from his covenant that he made with God through self-circumcision. And then the visitors approached, and even though he was in a daze and in much discomfort, he ran to welcome them and brought them in, and Sarah and he fed them. Rabbi Akiva taught that the Torah's central commandment, maybe the one thing that you should remember first in all of Torah, is the verse in Leviticus 19:18, to love your fellow as yourself. And just a few verses later in Leviticus in 1934, we're instructed why we should love our fellow as ourselves. And that is precisely because of the Joseph story. Because we were sojourners who went down to Egypt, and we were welcomed by Pharaoh. We were treated as equals with Pharaoh. And because of that, we should be welcoming. We must be welcoming. So as I wrote you in my Friday message, which came out yesterday because I wanted to get this story out to you, my father's family, they're 100% Swedish. And my father's family, they were Swedish evangelical Lutherans, and quite devout. But there is no doubt in my mind that they loved me and my brother and my mother in our Jewishness, And when my father converted to Judaism, they loved him just the same. One of the really wonderful memories I have of not only growing up, but early adulthood was my grandmother's Swedish cookies. She would make 6 or 7 different kinds of cookies, and then she would box them up. And wherever I was, whether I was in college or I had moved after I had moved on, until she could no longer make them herself, she would send a shoebox full full of cookies, and I would savor those cookies. And then after my grandmother passed away, Alice passed away. There were no more boxes of cookies, just memories of these wonderful Swedish um, Christmas cookies. And then as my niece Elizabeth got older, um, she had run across my grandmother's recipes. And one holiday season, Elizabeth took it upon herself to make all of the Christmas cookies, and she boxed them up and she sent the she. I think I was living in Cincinnati at the time, and I got this box and opened it up, and oh my gosh, there's these cookies. Not only the cookies, but she also gave me the recipes. The recipes went on a shelf, and now I'm pretty confident that they're in a box in my basement somewhere. Um, and I've always had it in my head, someday I'll make those cookies. I'm a pretty good cook. I don't bake a whole lot, but Meryl Mazzella's got me baking challahs. So, maybe this year was the year. I always say that this year is the year. And then I got a holiday card in the mail, and on the cover of the photo on the outside of the card were my grandmother's um, Swedish cream cookies. And I just, I was like, well, wow, what a gift. I, immediately knew what they are. I immediately knew those are my grandmother's cookies. And the card was from my brother. And I opened up the card, and there on the inside of the card is the recipe. Like, well, that's decided. I have to make these cookies. So today, I made the cookies. Got a little help from Polly, and I've got. I'll show you the cookies here. These are my grandmother Alice's uh, Swedish cream cookies, and they've got a lingonberry uh, jelly jam in the center. And my brother and sister-in-law are both chefs, so they modified the recipe a bit so that everything came out perfectly, and they are oh so good. So now that I've done the test batch, maybe next year I'll make enough that I can, and maybe we'll be in a situation where we'll have an oneg at the temple, and then we can all share in my grandmother Alice's Swedish Christmas cookies. And and all this is to say that this is part of who I am. Obviously, hey, I went a few extra miles. Not only did am I Jewish, but I went the extra mile to become a rabbi and really try to be a part of leading the Jewish people. But this is part of my identity. And these interfaith relationships, they're part of our identity as a Jewish people, as represented through the relationships of Joseph and the good relationship with Pharaoh and the good relationships that we've had with people of other faiths throughout the world. They're part of us, and we're part of them. And so, once again, it is commanded for us to welcome them into our communities and celebrate with them just as they celebrate with us. Let's turn our thoughts now to those in our community in need of healing. There are so many in Connecticut, in the United States, in the world, who are suffering from COVID-19, struggling mightily. And there are also the nurses and doctors and other healthcare workers who are struggling right along with them, trying to take care of them and fight this pandemic. And we think of them also. They're stressed out. They are really exhausted, but they continue to persevere. So we think of them. We also think of these in our community, and I remind you to go ahead and put names that you would like to mention that you think might not be on my list here. Put them in the chat. But on my list is Rivka Bela, Cindy Baldor, Dawn Bendick, Randy Bennett, Irene Brickman Smith, Ethel Chackin, David Cohen, Richard Cohen, April D'Amato, Randy D'Amato, John Donnarumma, Henry Dunkerley, Deborah Eichler Elliott, Julie Engelman, Jim Franklin, John Frank, Renee Genero, Susan Greenhall, Trudy Hans, Karen Hodgson, Ginger Horton, Karen Kelly, Hank Kuznicki, Sue Luftglass, Sharon McCaffrey, Elaine Moore, Elaine Moss, Art Nadell, Teresa Nocerino, Katura Bat Avigdor, Cheryl Pionk, Larry Reisner, Stanley Rosen, David Rosenstein, Arnold Roseman, Marlene Roseman, Florence Rowe, Edie Safman, Marvin Schnoor, Carol Seaman, Eric Senges, Claudia Shapiro, Philip Shapiro, Alvin Schur, Addison Shagru, Edith Schwartzberg, Shmuel Ben Sprinza, Helen Sylvester, Gamliel Reuven Bat Malka, Joanne Zuckerman, Michaela Bat Rivka Bela, Bernadine Shea, Baruch Menachem Ben Sarah Chana, Mark Newell, and Elba Cruz Schulman, also Deb Schultz, Julie Stevenson, Faye Rudnick, Cynthia Furman, Alvin Krupa, Cornelia Cregan, Jermaine and Norman Ruderman. Elna Rafana Allah, these are the words of Moses as he prayed for the healing of his sister Miriam. Please, God, please heal her.
Samazor, la sovlim.
So I'll ask you all to rise in spirit or body and spirit for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא עשנו לשומרי האדמה, והוא שמנו לשליחי התורה, שהוא שם חיינו איתם, וגורלנו עם כל העולם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
May we gain wisdom in our lives, overflowing like a river with understanding. Love to each of us for the peace we bring to others. May our deeds exceed our speech, and may we never lift up our hand but to conquer fear and doubt and despair. Rise up like the sun, O God, over all humanity. Cause light to go forth over all the lands between the seas, and light up the universe with the joy of wholeness, of freedom, and of peace.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
This week, we have suffered some loss in our community. We remember this week in Shiva, Judy Weber, the mother of our beloved Steve Weber. Our heart goes out to the Weber family. They've suffered multiple losses this winter. So our hearts and prayers go out to them. I also think of Marcia Sperling, who is the sister of Barry Feldman, and our hearts and prayers go out to Barry and Cecile and the Feldman family. We also think of those with Yahrzeit in the coming week: William Bentley, Gertrude Camisar, Arthur Feinstein, Milton Frank, Ida Kovitz Freiberg, Israel Goodman, Betty Gottlieb, Beverly Canfer, Sidney Katz, James Murphy, Franklin Prague, Daniel Ravis, Marcy Robbins, David Rosenfeld, Evelyn Rosenstein, Louis Siegel, Pauline Trossler, and Morris Schiller. We'll rise as one community for Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, v'alma divrach chirutei v'amlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevarach leolam almaya, yit barach v'yish tabach v'yit pa'ar v'yit ramam v'yit naseh, v'yit adar v'yit aleh v'yit alal shemei dekudasha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata ta'amiram b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing always. Just a few announcements this week. Um, Religious school is on winter break. Um, we resume classes on Wednesday, January 6th for the Wednesday sessions, and January 10th for the Sunday sessions. There, no, I don't know what okay, so also, please remember that on January 8th, we will be honoring Cecile Feldman. She was last year's Ilson Award winner, and you may remember that the Ilson Award honors people who, over a number of years, many years, have been really contributing to the building, the continuing to build the foundation of our congregation, and Cecile certainly is that. And so we're going to honor her on January 8th. That's a late honoring. We've been postponed because of the pandemic. And on the heels of that, we also want to remind you that the nominations for the coming year's Ilson Award is now open. So when you receive your bulletin in a couple of days, you will find in the bulletin a form to fill out for the Ilson Award. So be thinking who you want to nominate and get your nominations in. Also want to remind you that starting on January 2nd, we are going to restart our Havdalah observances on Zoom. And Barbara Senjas and Sherry Barnes have been working on what we're going to do each week. We're not only we're going to do Havdalah, we're going to do some fun things together. So come and join us 7 o'clock on Saturday evening, starting January 2nd, and we're going to keep that going through up until we get to Pesach. So that is something definitely to look forward to. Also want to let you know that we have a community Tu B'Shvat celebration coming up Wednesday, January 27th at 7 o'clock. It will be on Zoom. And we have a lovely program put together. There's going to be music with Sherry, of course, and also Roz Etra. I can't wait to, of course, I love hearing Sherry, but also if you were, we got some lovely treats during Hanukkah with Roz providing some music for us, and that was really great and special. And we'll have her again for Tu B'Shvat Wednesday, January 27th at 7 p.m. And then Rob Julius and Rabbi Alter will be doing a little spiritual teaching, short spiritual teaching. And then the real focus of the night is we have some special guest speakers coming from the Connecticut College Arboretum, and they're going to give us some cultural connections with trees and also tell us what's going on in the tree world around the greater New London area. And there really is lots of great and really innovative things going on with trees. And then for anyone who is in need of saying Kaddish that night, Rabbi Kadekel will lead us in our concluding benedictions and Kaddish. So a real community effort there, and I'm really grateful for my colleagues in helping to put this together. Some may say, what happened to Rob Jeremy? Well, Rob Jeremy is on sabbatical, so he'll rejoin our community efforts very shortly. So, Sherry, can you think of anything that I've forgotten?
Just the cabaret piece of
Yes.
Havdalah. So if you're interested in doing something for it's not it's the week before the 27th. No, what was
Uh,
like the third week in January,
okay,
right?
I have that.
Was
Yes, it is the January 23rd is the cabaret.
so 5 minutes and under. And it can be singing, it could be dancing, it could be reading poetry or short stories. So I've already heard from some of you, and I'm really excited. So if you're interested, just shoot me an email, and I'll put you on my list.
Okay, all right. So we're going to close with Adon Olam tonight, and we're going to do it in the French Sephardic tradition. Is that right, Sherry?
Yes, it is.
All right. I'll share the words for if you're like me, you may not have them memorized.
Adon olam Hashem alach b'terech kol yitzir nira le'ed nasa v'chefso kol azay melech shemo nikra azay melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kichlot hakol bevado imlot nora ve'hu haya ve'hu oher ve'hu yihye v'tifara ve'hu yihye v'tifara ve'hu eli ve'in sheni ve'am shilo le'afira eli reishit eli tachlit ve'lo ha'oz ve'ha'misra ve'lo ha'oz ve'ha'misra ve'hu eli ve'chai goli ve'tzor chevli ve'etzara ve'hu nisi u'manus li ve'nat kosi ve'yom ekra ve'nat kosi ve'yom ekra ve'yado afkibruhi ve'eti shan ve'ayira ve'im ruchi giviati Adonai li ve'lo ira Adonai li ve'lo ira. You're muted. Only one time tonight.
I know, wasn't that great?
That was
All
really
right.
good.
Yeah. If you've got your Kiddush cup at home, we'll raise that now. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lamikra'e kodesh Zecher Letziat Mitzrayim, Kivanu vecharta, veotanu kidashta, mikol hamim, veshabat kodshecha, ve'ahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch ata Adonai, Mekadesh, HaShabbat. L'chaim.
I am.
Okay. Got my challah here. Motzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our grateful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. B'tei Avon. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Please unmute yourselves and greet each other. Shabbat Shalom to everyone.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Aaron.
Everyone.
We want the
Shalom.
cooking recipe. We want the.
Oh, you want the recipe? I promise you, they're melts in your mouth.
I don't have a Swedish grandmother, so I have to live vicariously through you. I don't have it.
Sounds wonderful.
Great.
All right.
Gail, should we put, where's Gail?
There she is.
Here I
There's
am.
Gail. Hi,
Okay,
Gail.
should we put Barbara on the Mishra Berach list
Sure, next time.
next time?
Oh, who are we talking about?
A friend of ours.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay. Just let me know, okay? I'll put
Okay.
her on the list.
Hi, Joe.
Hi, there's Charlotte and Randy. Shabbat
Oh,
Shalom.
hi, Charlotte. Oh, where? Who?
Shabbat
Is
Shalom.
that Charlotte?
That's Charlotte.
Oh, did you get your haircut, Charlotte?
Hi, Sandy.
Hair.
Oh, it looks shorter.
Hi.
Okay.
Very
I just had my hair back.
Ah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
very nice.
Okay. It looks so different. Oh, there we go. It looks so different. I wasn't sure it was you.
Yes.
Oh, hi, Aaron and Karen.
Hi, Sherry.
Birds.
Shabbat Shalom. Oh, there's Harvey.
And your dog?
Harvey Snitkin. Hi.
Oh, yeah. Shabbat Shalom, guys.
No.
Shabbat Shalom.
All right, Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Sherry, is your,